Hello everyone, my name is John Scheller.
Augie Walter.
Jack Benon.
Arjun Nair, and today we will be presenting on fossil fuels. Next slide. As world population continues to grow, the production of energy is also expected to increase. However, the amount of fossil fuels that can be used is also diminishing, making it extremely difficult for mankind to meet energy demand. We must look towards more renewable energy sources such as geothermal and solar power to overcome a scenario in which we run out of fossil fuels. In addition, when we use fossil fuels to produce electricity or power our cars, we release toxic substances in the air, affecting the greenhouse effect. And as you can see, this graph shows the prevented deaths by using more renewable energy sources. Next slide.
The first contention that our group has come up with is that coal and oil are very harmful fossil fuels that negatively impact the planet and the world's population. In addition to the harm that results from burning these fossil fuels, there's also damage to the planet when these resources are taken out of the ground from increased pollution to contamination of water sources from methods like fracking. And these fossil fuels are not replaceable. So once they are burned, they are not available to create energy in the future. In the United States, there has been a push to renewable fuels, but the country still has largely dependent on fossil fuels. In China, where the growth in the use of fossil fuels has been even more drastic as the country has developed, pollution problems are so severe that hundreds of thousands of citizens are dying every year from poor air quality. But because the country feels the need to grow, more and more fossil fuels are being used, and the problem is getting worse every day. And this graph shows kind of how much coal, oil, and gas and cement are being made each year.
Okay, so our group's second contention was the ethical perspective and how the use of fossil fuels harms humans. So as you can see, here's a picture of two girls walking in New Delhi, India. They're just walking to school, and the air pollution there is so bad that they have to cover their mouths just so that they don't get sick. So as we examine the ethical perspective, there are people dying as a direct result of the burning of fossil fuels. So oil is one of the largest, or is the largest energy source in the world, and it's used to power cars. It's used to provide energy and to make plastics and other silicones. And so as the use of oil continues, air pollution levels reach epidemic proportions. And according to NASA, a government agency of the United States, quote, every year 60 million people die from air pollution as a direct result of the burning of oil, end quote. So as you can infer, countries with high population densities have tons of air pollution. This comes from the driving of cars and other emissions of fossil fuels. And so in an article on air pollution in India in the New York Times, air pollution levels are, quote, nearly 30 times what the World Health Organization considers safe, or the equivalent of smoking 2 packs of cigarettes per day, end quote. So we must take steps to prevent this. Matt.
So the first solution that we will propose is natural gas. Now there are 3 main benefits to this solution. The first benefit I'll talk about is prices. According to oil price, in 2014, the amount of money natural gas cost was $5.17. However, this price has actually declined, and in 2016, natural gas only cost $2.25. As you can see here, prices are declining every single year. So it will be very easy for these people, since we live in a cost-efficient world right now, it will be easy for people to buy them. The next reason why this is that we should replace oil and coal with natural gas is because it is very healthy. Coal and oil only emit around 220 pounds of carbon dioxide every single year. However, natural gas only emits 117 pounds. As you can see here, we are saving lives because, as John stated in his first slide, many people die from these emissions. But since natural gas emits less amount of carbon dioxide than the other 2, oil and coal, that we could be saving lives in this process and also helping the environment. Now, the third one is how easy it is to apply. As you can see by this graph from the EIA, a credible government organization, oil and coal, natural gas is actually past coal in usage. So many people already use natural gas right now, and instead, as you can see here, petroleum is actually declining has been declining since around 2012. So it would be really easy to apply this, and just recently, natural gas has taken over coal. And now John will present the second solution.
Next slide. Solution 2 is renewable resources. We are accustomed to using fossil fuels as our central source of everyday uses. According to Union of Concerned Scientists, renewable energies are a practical, affordable solution to our electricity needs. By ramping up renewable energy, we can reduce air pollution, cut global warming emissions, create new jobs and industries, diversify our power supply, and move America towards a cleaner, healthier energy future. The first way we can do this is solar. Conserve Energy Future states, the heat of the sun is about equivalent to burning 1 billion trillion tons of coal an hour. Even though only a fraction of the heat ever reaches the earth, it is still enough to power the whole world. A few pros to this solution is that it is abundant, renewable, requires low maintenance, is financially supported by the government, and the technology is constantly changing and getting better. However, the cons are that it is expensive, requires space, and weather is often intermittent. The second way we can do this is through wind energy. According to the Union of Concerned Scientists, a single windmill can power the crop irrigation and the family energy needs, water pumping, and electric lights for a whole town. In addition, wind energy is a renewable energy resource and reduces our reliance on foreign countries for oil and gas. The pros is that it has created several thousand jobs and doesn't cause any air pollution. The third way we can move to a renewable future is geothermal energy. It also produces no pollution and results in significant cost savings as no fuel is required to harness energy from beneath Earth. These advantages makes geothermal one of the best sources. However, the con to this is that it is suitable to certain regions, thus cannot be harnessed everywhere. Also, the places where they are abundant are generally quite prone to earthquakes and volcanoes.
So there are many limitations and implications to the solutions that we have developed to try and replace coal and oil for energy production. First off, while it seems obvious and easy to replace oil with natural gas or another renewable resource, the complete removal of oil would have a damaging impact on our society and economy. This is because so much of the nation's infrastructure is based on oil, from all the gas stations that are located throughout the country to the pipelines that carry oil around the country, from where it is pumped to where gasoline is produced. However, it is time to start researching alternatives to oil and ways to implement them. Getting rid of the use of oil for energy will force us to rely on other energy sources that are either not as reliable, like solar, or as plentiful, like natural gas, as oil, both of which would have impacts on the U.S.'s energy availability and cost. Next slide. As for renewable energy sources, they have limits also, as they are not as effective as fossil fuels, because they are not as reliable or inexpensive. However, when they do start to get used in larger amounts, they will help with global warming problems, and eventually their costs will go down. When that happens, alternative and renewable energy sources will gain even more momentum as replacements for oil.
So renewable energy sources are often projected as a highly profitable and efficient source of energy, but this is actually the opposite of what's happening. They're still developing and still doing research. So according to Bloomberg, quote, even in 2040, even if everyone does everything they've promised at the Paris Climate Summit, the world will get just 2.4% of its energy from renewable energy, end quote. So this shows how renewable energy is still developing and how it would be super expensive to install, and people would have a really hard time switching over to it. So what I propose is that society keeps using fossil fuels, but only to further develop renewable energy sources.
In conclusion, the best solution is going to be renewable resources. Now, renewable resources, as of right now, as Augie stated, they're very expensive. However, with the way the world is going right now, renewable resources will be getting cheaper by the year. And it is obviously the healthiest solution that we have. Natural gas is still a fossil fuel. It still emits carbon emissions. However, renewable resources doesn't emit that many. So we could be saving lives with this, because as John stated, in his first slide, how many lives were saved from renewable resources. We could be saving more of these lives if we implement more renewable resources. Now, this may not be now, but we can still implement it later, and we could be helping society environmentally and economically. Thank you.